Hang on, it is important to remember there was such a thing as a brand community before the digital era. Let's rewind a second. Prior to the digital generation, brand communities originated through the use of social relationships which were conducted through fragmented tribal groups. It was believed that these tribes of people were based on shared lifestyles, values and interests. Although, due to the lack of internet, these social relationships were geographically bound. Therefore, they relied upon individuals to be situated within close proximity of each other, and also with similar ethnicities and social classes. However, Cohen believed the true sense of brand communities was the shared meaning and should not be restricted by geographical issues. Then came the year 2000. This is the year that the internet was officially claimed as being everywhere. By the year 2000, around 100 million people had access to the platform, and it became common for people to be engaged socially online. The internet was suggested to be used mainly as a hobby and only for those who had access. Those who did would use the space to make friends and discuss topics. Yet the top 10 countries in the world accounted for more than 73% of the overall internet use, therefore suggesting that there were still some geographical boundaries for those without access. However, as time has gone on, location has become increasingly meaningless. As I already told you, in 2001, thanks to the development of the web, Muniz and O'Gwyn were able to define brand communities as a non-geographical bound space. Muniz and O'Gwyn additionally suggested that brand communities exhibit 3 traditional markers, which are conscious of kind, rituals and traditions, and a sense of moral responsibility. Additionally, they supported Van Katesh by highlighting that brands are undeniably and fundamentally social entities created as much by the consumer as by marketers. Additionally, it was implied that these brand communities could be used to create a sense of belonging and membership for their consumers. On to Lewis for the next part of the timeline.
In 2004, the Web 2.0 was established. It is believed by Kotler and White that the significant difference between the first Web and Web 2.0 is a social nature. Musser and O'Reilly and Lockerer et al. State that the world of Web 2.0 has allowed a new method in which end users and common people who have the ability to publish their own branded related content, as evidenced by YouTube videos, Facebook groups, Twitter messages, Amazon reviews and any other social media activities. These amateur pieces may achieve significant reaches. Instead of only monitoring the grassroots movements, more and more branded companies aim to actively participate in it. An example of this is Lugnet, which is an established website, the largest unofficial community of Lego, who is considered an organic development and is run by their fans. It is a focused and niche group of users. The Lugnet community have even been recognised by the Lego brand as being a valuable source of information. As one Lego spokesman said, Lugnet offers incredibly valuable insights in hardware, software, designs and feedback, which inform the brand's products and developments in marketing and much more. Another key event in 2004 for brand communities is the establishment of MySpace, as Barker identifies that MySpace enables advertisers to create a level of intimacy unheard of with traditional media formats. The first marketeers to create MySpace profiles included musicians. However, now mainstream brands are online too. A common method for the marketers to interact with social media networking members is to set up a profile for the brand. Members can then join or friend this brand. An example of this is in the movie X-Men: The Last Stand, which obtained over 2 million MySpace friends. Brand communities enhances the self-belonging as it allows communities to voice their opinions on their chosen topic to an audience who have the same level of interest, therefore creating a sense of community. I will now pass you on to Sophie.
Thanks, Lois. In 2006, Facebook was created. As we already know, Facebook isn't the first social media to facilitate the ability to create brand communities. However, it's the longest standing and most relevant to still be used to this day. Facebook has gained widespread attention, dating right back to when it was created. Did you know, as of 2016, the site had 1.3 billion active users, as estimated by Digital Trends. In 2016, Digital Trends identifies the best thing about Facebook as being that it promotes openness and honesty, which is especially beneficial for brands who incorporate brand communities into their business strategy. And as we already know from what Emily mentioned earlier, Fournier and Lee identify a strong brand community to be able to increase customer loyalty as well as lower your marketing costs. On Facebook, users spend time browsing community pages, and Gummerus et al. Suggest they most often connect the user to the brand rather than to one another. Big brands not only understand how these spaces generate super valuable conversations that fan pages don't allow for, but by using Facebook they can also find a super segmented public. Facebook groups have one advantage over other online communities and forums. CASAS identifies one of the main ones being that people already know how to use Facebook and have created a habit out of using it. Facebook groups also build on consumer self-belonging as they give people a sense of community and involvement with others who are also interested in the same product, brand or activities. A successful brand community on Facebook is Pottermore, a dedicated fan page for Harry Potter fans to engage in content by J.K. Rowling about the Wizarding World. In the past, quizzes have been released to discover your Patronus, one type, or be sorted into one of the famous houses from the books. This is a great example of a brand community and closely links with the consumer brand consumer triad model. Now, over to you, Emily, to talk through Instagram and Twitter.
Thanks, Sophie. Although Twitter still isn't as in-depth as Facebook, brand communities on Twitter are still alive. According to Lopez et al., Twitter has fewer requirements compared with offline and other communities. It's easier to access and get involved with. Lopez adds that the stronger the personal brand connection, the more likely it is that the consumer will identify with the brand community on Twitter. Petropoulou adds that Twitter enables brands to connect with their consumers as they can answer queries and complaints quickly and effectively. This way, you'll be able to engage your followers, build relationships through interaction and create a sense of community. This can all be seen in JetBlue's case. According to Kolowich, when it comes to brands who do it all on Twitter, JetBlue really takes the cake. They have a team of dedicated customer service professionals that answers every single question that comes their way. The folks at JetBlue constantly go above and beyond to delight customers on Twitter. This consequently builds great brand engagement and creates a sense of community amongst JetBlue customers. Now on to Instagram. Instagram launched in 2010 as a place for people to share photos and moments as they move through the day. While Schouten notes that in 4 years the mobile community has grown to over 200 million active users, sharing over 60 million photos per day. Blimey, that's a lot of snaps. Instagram has also become an asset to brands as a research tool. It enables brands to showcase their products, and according to Wilson, Instagram has become a means to closely connect with a very visually engaged community of potential customers. Dakuna found that Nike ran a great Instagram campaign that was Choose Your Winter. The campaign invites Instagram users to interact with Nike. Over 6,000 consumers actually published their Choose Your Winter campaign pictures online. The campaign launched mid-November with the hashtag Choose Your Winter. This hashtag received so much ground that Instagram itself even recognised Nike for the ability to start a movement. According to Anne Daverly, Instagram's interactions contribute to the communities and allow consumers to give and receive social support, as well as providing self-disclosure, which further encourages a sense of self-belonging within brand communities, as such support amongst the network will enable the consumers to feel as part of the community. I'll now pass you over to Naomi to finish off the timeline.
So, as the timeline has identified, online brand communities depend largely on the establishment of the Web 2.0 and the subsequent formation of various social media platforms, as demonstrated by my colleagues, where it can be argued that brands are utilising social media platforms and the user-generated content of their brand communities to create value for themselves and their consumers. So if brands are using social media platforms in order to create brand communities and brand equity, and we know that the digital landscape is ever changing, it begs the question, what should brands do to stay ahead of the game, and where is the future of brand communities? Various researchers have embarked on the concept of brand communities within the virtual world setting and strongly recommend the virtual world setup as a great way to encourage relationships with consumers, as it is widely recognised as an important new channel for marketing and brand building. Benefits of the virtual world brand presence include enhanced brand experience through virtual world communities. It could potentially create virtual world value, as a brand can be purchased as an expressive item or as a symbol for status or identity. It has also been suggested that the positive feelings established within the virtual world can be adopted and carried over into a real-life setting and foster a positive relationship and impact purchase intention. But as with all new things, there are some risks to consider when establishing a brand within the virtual world community. For starters, there isn't much research on the area, so it's a trial and error approach which can be somewhat risky for brands.
the virtual world environment is very unpredictable. For example, when Garnier fostered brand association through an exclusive hairstyle, it may have been successful in getting clicks and name recognition. However, higher status users associated the hair with newer users, so it became less desirable, something which the brand could not have predicted. And finally, some scholars argue that the hardest thing in the virtual world is establishing or eliciting a positive emotional experience for online avatars, and brand needs to work harder to build emotional brand value. Some suggestions include carefully chosen brand images, realistic 3D representation, and other multimedia. I'll now hand you over to Lois to start you off with our recommendation.
Now for some top tips on how your brand could establish a successful brand community. It really is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
As established during the timeline, the 3 following platforms are our key recommendations of where to situate your brand community. 1. Facebook, as it has a consistent number of active users who constantly engage in content. In addition, Instagram and Twitter should be utilised, as they are great tools to support the lifestyle established within the brand communities on Facebook. We also recommend that you keep a close eye on the development of virtual reality, as platforms such as Second Life offers a similar concept to Twitter and Instagram, as consumers can interact with certain brands to express their self-identity through association, which often translate into real-life positive feelings towards brands and ultimately strengthens relationships between online brand communities and real-life products.
Once the online platforms have been established, based on the theories and examples discussed, it's clear that creating a two-way communications channel is vital for brand communication. As established, these are run by the consumer for the consumer, aka encouraging user-generated content and engagement. Therefore, our key recommendations for recommending user-generated content include 1. Be innovative like Starbucks, who use their product innovation site to create conversation and creativity between its members. 2. Be relevant like Nike, and their Choose Your Winter campaign, which encouraged users to post their winter style. And 3. Be unique like Pottermore, with their Facebook group, which included personalised engagement content, such as their Harry Potter quiz, which spurred on a user-generated conversation.
And finally, make sure you're ethical in all of your marketing and brand activities, because no one wants an anti-brand community.
And that's it from us. We wish you the best of luck on your quest to form the most successful brand community.